is what flows in his fam's DNA. Dope is what flows in his fam's DNA. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Dope Interviews, brought to you by the mighty 19 Media Group. I'm your host, Warren Shaw. And before I get you today's interview, let me set the stage just a little bit. We are talking to the folks behind the Tribeca film debut of You Trying to Say You Love Me. It is a short film created by Ty Molbak, but it features the amazing Asante Blackk. You've seen Asante Blackk in stuff like Euphoria, This Is Us. It also features Malia Pyles, who's been in Pretty Little Liars and the upcoming Cape Fear on Apple TV as well. And Ty Molbak, the director, is also going to join us for this interview. Interviews done a little bit differently from our normal style here on Dope Interviews because it is on a Zoom call and it's kind of doing the speaker feature request. But either way, this is still an amazing interview. Check it out here. Asante Blackk, Malia Pyles, and Ty Molbak here. You're Trying to Say You Love Me, debuting at Tribeca Film Festival. Warren Shaw, Dope Interviews here with the amazing Malia Pyles and Ty Molbak for their amazing short film debuting at Tribeca. You Trying to Say You Love Me. I love the title, first and foremost. So Ty, let's talk a little bit about that. Why that title? Oh, and my guys Asante is here as well too. What's good, G?
Okay.
My bad. I didn't see you on the Zoom. It's my fault. It's my fault. 1,000%. But Ty, that title. Why the title for this short film?
Because I think fundamentally, this movie is about a kid who lost his mom, and she never said "I love you." So I think one of the things I'm interested in the movie, like the question that I'm asking is this chicken and the egg conversation of like, can we feel and therefore we put language to it, or do we need to hear language and that new vocabulary allows us to feel something new? And so I think we're dealing with this college student who, love has never been in their vocabulary.
Mm.
Their, their sense of purpose in the world has always been about performance. He's a pre-Olympic diver. He's got a shoulder surgery. Not sure if he's going to be able to compete again. And he's at this elite institution. And now all of his anchors are taken away. And so when he sees this girl in his philosophy class talking about the rubber band theory about this is who we are and this is who we want to be, he just has no frame of reference. He's never thought like that. He's focused on one thing his whole life. And when they start talking about love, both of them are incredibly defensive about it. And it's this very primal thing. Of course, we all feel loved. But how do you express that, or how do you allow yourself to even feel that if you've never, allowed yourself to put words to it?
Yeah, I think very well said. And so, Malia, something I kind of want to kick it to you from the notions of being able to express any type of emotion, right? Like feeling something, but not necessarily having the words to express it. Is that relatable to you, even as people again who express yourselves kind of through your art form on a regular basis? But have you ever had to struggle with how to get your words out, so to speak?
Totally. I think we all met in an acting studio, and the thing that I've been trying to correct, which has been learned by me, is I think acting sometimes can be the perfect job to actually experience emotions in a controlled environment, but at the same time keeping them at a very specific distance. And same with language. We have a script, we get to experience the catharsis of saying the thing we always want to say in an argument, and have all the words that we never got to express in that moment. But then sometimes that doesn't bleed into our real life. Sometimes that doesn't translate because we've already done it on the job, and so now we don't have to do it in our personal lives. And so with that, and with trying to create that intimacy and collaboration and trust between the three of us, we didn't focus on the words. We focused on a number of exercises that challenged our bodies and defined how our bodies move in relation to each other and in relation to our argument. And that was a really exciting way in for me to be able to then get to be on that set that is so limiting in our time and our environment, and get to already have that in my body, the opportunity to just trust fall into Asante and be present with my partner, and to Ty's amazing direction.
Yeah, Santi tapped in on that as well too. But I think I love that point. The kind of the fear of, damn, I wish I would have said that. The fact, that happens to us as human beings so much. But Santi, your thoughts there as well too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that For me, I don't know. I might be weird, but I'm more so like I think back and I'm like, damn, I wish I didn't say that. You know. Uh, Well, I'm just a very passionate person, and so it can be hard to change my mind, but and I think that that was something that I was able to bring to this role, to the curiosity, the real poking and prodding at what is supposedly true. That was the similarity that I found between myself and Jerard, and not even necessarily in a way that is antagonistic or to go against somebody else, but genuinely because something doesn't add up, something doesn't make sense, and there is something that is not adding up in the external world, but also on the internal world, and so through this level of communication, hopefully hopefully Gerard is able to just figure out exactly what the solution is. And so yeah, I think that, Gerard does have a little bit of that same problem in this short that we see where, he ends up talking out of his ass a little bit and maybe turning this girl off that, he really just wanted to connect with, and I think that that's a big thing that like hopefully people take away from it is like, just because you talking don't mean you connecting, Uh,
Bars.
you gotta be able to reel it in sometimes, step outside of yourself and genuinely just look at the entire context of the situation that you in. And maybe, figure out, okay, how do we approach this from a different standpoint that maybe isn't uh as combative, or maybe if it's combative and it's just going to be that how do I come back with like, a little feather to tickle you, what I'm saying? Just so you can throw that it ain't, I ain't trying to hurt you,
Okay, for sure.
just love taps. Yeah.
Ty, I guess the question that you're going to get 1,000 times over, but I think with a story that's this layered, putting it into a short, like how do you really kind of get the breadth of it? And then can you even give these great actors an opportunity to freelance a little bit, right? Or do they kind of have to stick to the script because, hey, we're short on time here?
Yeah, no, two answers. So this came from a larger feature film that I started thinking of back in film school in 2015. And during the pandemic, I started writing it in earnest. I actually saw Asante and When They See Us and started writing it for him, not knowing we would ever meet. So this has been going on a long time, specifically like with Asante in mind. And then Malia came into our acting class and it all just kind of like met up. So my issue with the short was when Asante came in class, I was like, how do I condense this into a short film because I can't shoot a feature right now. And so I basically took a 2.5-page scene from the feature and I expanded it and tried to get all my ideas in there and then just cut away. Um, but really it was just about having these two beautiful actors, Asante and Malia, like having the opportunity to have as much runway as they could, collide, and then have to deal with the pieces after and make some sense out of each other.
Last couple before we get out of here for sure, and I appreciate both of you, all of you, being so gracious, with your reflection and thought process on this as well. Uh, I want to ask both Asante and Malia. Does Gerard see Malia as his mom in any way, shape, or form? Somebody who might be challenging him a little bit, but also, but now a different version of that where she can listen to him and hear him, and when in a space that he really ultimately needs to be heard.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Chloe definitely represents a a a resolution of that relationship, just some maybe not even necessarily closure, but almost a continuation of energies, I do think that a part of the reason why Gerard was attracted to Chloe in the first place is because he probably recognized parts of his mom inside of her, and just the intellect that she has and the ambition and the go-getterness, the very matter of fact, by the book, but at the same time wanting to push to something bigger. That was something that just kind of stood out. And yeah, I think that it's an interesting responsibility for somebody to have, to absolve somebody's relationship with their parents.
Mm.
But it's also one that I don't know. I think comes with a certain privilege at the same time when it's done right. Like when it happens between the right two people that are able to see each other completely. That's when transformation happens. So yeah.
Malia, you chuckled, so yay or nay on
No, it's just something that we spoke about earlier in the day and in these calls, and maybe it was something that didn't even fully dawn on me when we were shooting it. So it's always lovely to hear Asante speak to it. But I do think what I did feel in the moment, it's like when she's being like, "Why am I here? Why am I here?" And which I feel like translates like to what are you trying to take from me right now? Because here's this person that's sitting across from her that's looking at her in a way that no one's ever really looked at her before, and to be really to be seen or to be uh, confronted by this mysterious person that like actually wants to get to know her and not just her arguments. It's like uh, and then when he reveals his truth, and that immediately shifts the air in the room, and she has to decide whether or not she's going to, run, or she's going to stay and maybe learn something not only about him but herself. And so I think the dynamic that they have is a really beautiful one, and it is very complex, and it's nice to have these conversations and continue to learn new things about. Tighter.
she decides to nurture. Last one, because we're short on time here. The three of you, do they make it? Just yes or no. Does this relationship last and stand the test of time?
I mean, I know the answer from the feature, but I want to hear what you guys say. I know the answer too. You told me the answer.
I know. You're gonna have to wait and find out.
Well, Malia, Ty, Asante, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate this. I can't wait for everybody to see this here. You trying to say you love me, love the title, love the vibes, and you three are an amazing, amazing trio. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you, Warren.
Together we stand, divided we never. The vision is one, striving for the better. Working as a team, working toward a dream. It's not even work when the team is the dream. On a united front, we gotta hold back. A band of brothers to counteract any attack. One heart in back, forget what the blood say. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA. So let's do it for the love, give to the max. Listen to opinion, but react to facts. And remember that together with it, but separate, just pieces of it. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA.
Family represent like a tree with names on it. We're free, no chains on it. Relieved, the pain's gone, I can see. We come together like questions on the quiz. Mojo Flow and Viz, man, you know what it is. And if ignorance is bliss, you're gonna hate this lesson. Organized intellect like a tropical depression. My symbol is the cross, a mic and ghost peppers. Cause I'm just a black sheep, growing up to be a shepherd. Moonlighting as a weapon to protect the children. Every brother is a father, dynasties we're building. Max, J and K, Bay, and Isaiah, next level of the family foundation. Understand?